Welcome and good morning to another edition of the Friday Morning Commute with your host, Rovan Doug. Let's go ahead and get started real quick. There's not a lot of new information that has been given. I'll cover what I can think of and what I know, but we're just, as always, beginning of summer, you hit a content lull in several games, and Destiny is no different. But we do have several things looking up in the sense of new information, but it won't be until a week, 2 weeks from now before we are able to fully talk about it and discuss it here on the Friday Morning Commute. So let's go ahead and get started with Xur. As always, he has a lovely selection of curious items for us to enjoy and to salt over. First up is the Legacy Exotic Engram. This week it is a helmet engram, so feel free to pick that up if you need a Year 1 exotic helmet. These will always decrypt into a Year 1 exotic. You will not get a Year 2 or Year 3 exotic from them, unless, of course, you get a Year 1 exotic that has a Year 2 or Year 3 equivalent that is not in a quest line. Then you should be able to purchase them from the exotic kiosk appropriately. For the Titans, there's the Crest of Alpha Lupi chest armor. For the Hunters, we have the Mask of the Third Man helmet. And for Warlocks, we have the Skull of Dire Ahamkara. And for everyone, there is the Hardlight, as well as the Monte Carlo and Super Spy bundle, and the Red Death and Steel Witch weapon bundle. Now, the weapon bundles are a bundle of an exotic weapon, and a weapon ornament that go together and can be purchased with strange coins and silver dust. Now, looking forward in the world of Destiny, Bungie, of course, is not releasing their update until noon today, a little bit later than when my video... I'd like to have my video go live on YouTube, so we are going to ignore any update from Bungie. However, we will be able to talk about it next week, and as well as hopefully next week's update. With that in mind, we do have E3 around the corner, so there's a lot of talk and speculation that at E3 is when we will see an actual confirmed date of when the beta will launch. The best case scenario is the beta will launch on all three platforms at once during, a weekend time, so that we can see everyone has a chance to try it on their preferred platform, in a sense. Depending on the date, depends on really if I'll see about pre-ordering it. I would really love to, however, I still just haven't pre-ordered anything for Destiny 2. Not because I don't want to, just I haven't been able to really play much because it's different things, and so if it's a choice between video games and family, I have to choose family every time. And at the moment, that's where my choices have been. I have to choose family, as you could probably tell with my little one walking up. But it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy creating content for you guys and enjoy playing with you guys. Just the time isn't there, and everyone has these periods of time in their life whenever, their work schedule gets crazy, their family life gets intense, different things like that, and they have to make those choices of which extracurriculars to cut. And for myself, most of my extracurriculars have already been reduced to a pretty minimal level with all the work and the family time that I try to give. But with as much as I tend to pour into work, I still don't have the time to take care of, a lot of the chores I need to and certain things. So that's where my gaming time gets eaten up at. And as well as I've been trying to do better about taking care of myself personally, physical exercise. I need to do better at eating better. And getting to sleep at a decent hour, but there's something about having a wife who's a night owl that tends to ruin that. In any case, I wish there was more content I could report on. However, we do have E3 coming up, like I said. We're probably going to get specs. We'll probably get more information about Destiny 2. Minimum platform requirements for PC, which makes me really excited because at this point we'll be able to see, okay, what's the decent PC going to be to play Destiny 2, considering the fact that Bungie doesn't want to have a super high requirement as far as I can tell. So actually this gives us a couple pieces of information. We do know that Destiny 2 will not be releasing on PC right away with the other two platforms of Xbox and PlayStation 4. What does this mean for you? It means that Bungie is looking to give you the most optimized game for PC in a way that doesn't cause you to break the bank over hardware upgrades. So there's a good chance that if you're already running a pretty beefy gaming rig that you're going to be covered. And there's a chance that if you have a low to medium quality build from a manufacturer, that as long as you have the appropriate video card, you'll be able to run the game as well. Spec-wise, I think Bungie's trying to make this very obtainable in the sense of there's not too much overhead cost in order to get the game running for a PC gamer. And so they're going to spend extra time getting those optimizations in and optimizations accurate before releasing it so that you have a solid game right away. A little tidbit of information too is Bungie chose 4K instead of 60 frames per second because the way that the engines work in the Destiny environment. So you have your CPU calculations, and then you have your video rendering. And according to Bungie, according to Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith, his name almost went out of my brain there for a second, the physics calculations, the CPU intensive calculations, is what's preventing the game from running 60 frames per second on consoles. Now, CPU power in consoles is, something you have to live with. There's no way to upgrade it. Even on the PS4 Pro, they didn't have enough computing power to give you 60 frames per second. So they decided to keep consoles at 30 frames per second, but because of the improved graphics engines or graphic cards in both the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S, they're able to give us that 4K video support. So they went over really flashy quality instead of 60 frames per second, which as long as the game comes out and is fairly solid, I don't think we'll see too much of a complaint from a normal everyday gamer. It will be nice that for those who have invested in 4K display resolutions, for their living room or for other purposes, that they'll be able to load up Destiny 2 and see that great quality, and I'm sure we'll start seeing more 4K quality, especially from Destiny 2 over the next couple of years. Now, those who are concerned about tick rate, I don't know what to tell you. You're just going to have to get over it. And we'll see what Bungie does. They explained last week about their hybrid networking model, and we probably discussed it, but just as a refresher, the way that Destiny is running this game, the networking model is one of the consoles is set up as the host. They're the ones who are essentially hosting the match, hosting the game, and allowing everyone to connect to them. So that everyone is reporting their information to that console, and that console is then redistributing it back out, with certain calculations being done on the Bungie server. Destiny 2, they're hoping to take that host point and move it to a Bungie secured location, as well as that physics calculation point, or that physics server. So what does this mean? It means there's a single host per activity, whether that's patrol, crucible, raids, stories, strikes. We should see less host-based issues about host switching and that sort of stuff. But Bungie's still combining it with the peer-to-peer aspect of, I'm going to shoot, and then as I'm shooting, that is being transferred to the server, instead of the server, me pressing the button and me waiting for the server to come back and say, okay, now you're pressing that button. So the hope on my side is that we will see better flow of gameplay, especially in the Crucible environment, where you start firing, what you're hitting starts taking damage, and if there's any bit of a lag, it's because the calculations are, you fire, you've got a little bit of a lag between you and the server, but as soon as the server has the information, it's the steady stream catches up, and you're given that kill, even though maybe 2 seconds later the other guy started shooting at you. It will knock him dead before it'll knock you dead, and everything will balance out. So it'll be very interesting to see later on in the Destiny 2 world how the networking... Goodness. Stayed up way too late doing laundry. Necessary evil. It'll be very interesting to see how the networking model has been improved for Destiny 2, and how apparent this change is. Now, that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap up. As always, thanks again for stopping by. We always end with Xur, and I hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you'll have a great weekend, and see you again next week, maybe? Tune in, maybe? Anyways, so we've got the Legacy Exotic Engram, which is a helmet for Year 1 exotics. These exotics will not give you Year 2 or Year 3 exotic, unless, of course, you get a Year 2 or Year 3 exotic that is not locked by a quest, and then you'll be able to purchase it at the kiosk as you can from the other Year 1 exotics. We have the Crest of Alpha Lupi chest armor for Titans. We have the Mask of the Third Man helmet for Hunters, and the Skull of Dire Ahamkara helmet for Warlocks. The Hardlight Auto Rifle is the weapon of the week, everyone. And then the weapon bundles, if you have the Silver Dust to go with the Strange Coins, is the Monte Carlo and Super Spy, as well as the Red Death and Steel Witch. Now, as always, I want to say you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by and enjoying it, whether it's the live Periscope stream or the uploaded YouTube video. Your views are greatly appreciated, and your hearts on Periscope or your likes, comments, and subscribes on YouTube is also greatly appreciated. So, as always, if you're watching this on Periscope, you can catch the replay on... 1 second, baby girl. You can catch the replay on YouTube. It will be live around 11 Central, 12 Eastern. Hopefully, as long as everything goes to plan. And you can also view whenever it goes live on my Twitter account. And then you can also see whenever I go live on Twitch on my Twitter account as well. And then you can also follow me there as well as on Twitch. Now, with that being said, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can follow my Periscope account, which is in the descriptions below, on live Friday mornings between 7:30 and 9 o'clock. I know it's a very wide spread, but my mornings are not as solid as they used to be. So, all things considered, it's a fairly tight window. Ugh. Ooh, nice. Goodness. Anyways, so thanks again for stopping by. Hope you guys have an enjoyable weekend. I will see you all. Oh no! I will see you all later. Keep your eyes up, Guardians, and I'll see you Starside. Bye.